In other words, you weren't certain about what you were presenting, you weren't certain what vibratory frequency you were on, and so you did the natural thing. You were presented with an opportunity to realize that it might be wise at that time to compress yourself back into the center of your being, to investigate yourself and examine yourself. It's not really a shutdown as much as it is as an internal investigation to make sure that the beliefs you're holding on to are the ones that work for you so that you can eventually come out of it as a new person and perhaps having learned how to remain in alignment with a vibrational frequency that you prefer and make an assessment as to whether or not there is something you would like to change about yourself and the way you go about doing things. But that's all right. Compression is the natural state. If you judge yourself negatively for having done that, that's when it becomes the experience you call depression. You follow?
Yes.
So there is no need to be depressed if you naturally compress and use it for the purpose it's designed to be used. To redefine yourself and come out as a new person that is far more in alignment with who you'd prefer to be. And that means that the other person then has done you the service of allowing you to have that experience. But again, you still can't be responsible for whatever it is in their life they may have chosen to react because of the issues that may exist within them that they may not yet have faced. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
That helps a lot.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much for that. When I was talking with you the last time, a few years ago, and again now, when I reviewed the message later on the DVD, I felt a different experience, as though while I was talking to you, more was happening behind the scenes, more healing, more DNA healing. Something was going on during the physical now moment, exactly yes. Right now. Could you explain more about what's happening there?
Well, again, in these conversations and communications, and you all do this too, whether you're aware of it or not, you're always tapping into many different things. You have many different sources of information and communication coming to you to help you. You never really have to ask for more than you're already being given. You just have to pay more attention to what's already there. And so as you expand your consciousness, you may simply, as a natural side effect, as a natural symptom of the expansion, become more aware that there are many different kinds of communications participating in what sometimes might seem like a single communication that almost never is.
Wow.
Yes?
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. That will do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Satnam, and I love you unconditionally.
You as well. Or in our ancient language, I will say, Aveo. Thank you.
I greet you in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. Hello, Bashar.
Well, well, aren't we fancy? And you as well.
I guess I want to know the differences between the ascension, harvest, and advancement.
Between
ascension, harvest, and advancement.
And advancement?
Yeah. Or
well,
definitions or
ascension, again, is simply the raising of your frequency to become more of your true self. Yes?
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily happen in the blink of an eye, although sometimes it can. It's a process. You're all going through ascension right now, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. So you're raising your frequency and making more things probable in your reality. That's the side effect of continuing to ascend your frequency, to raise your frequency, raise your vibration. That's ascension. Now, of course, when you go into a spirit frame of reference, that's another kind of ascension, but it's still a continuation of the same process. The idea of advancement is, of course, closely connected to that idea. You are expanding, you are growing, you are learning, you are advancing, you are evolving. Similar idea. Harvest can be a slightly different idea. It's possible that that might involve bootstrapping yourself up to a different level entirely by interacting with another version of yourself from another reality or another dimension of experience. Does that make sense to you? Does that translate into your language?
maybe.
In other words, let's put it this way. Many of the encounters that many of you have with extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional beings, even though not all of them are this way, will almost always involve what you might call another version of you. Yes? In that reality. A parallel version of you in that reality as one of those beings. Therefore, by interacting and forming a relationship with that being, similar to the way that the channel is forming a relationship with us as a representation of what you might colloquially call his future self, there is a type of harvest going on in that I am lifting him up or helping him to lift up by providing an experience to what you might call my past self that allows him the opportunity to desire a way or find a way to advance and uplift himself. So it's kind of like a bootstrapping phenomena that you can call a type of harvest. Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Now, I understand that in your civilization, sometimes people will refer to the idea of harvesting in a very simple manner of saying, well, a bunch of extraterrestrials are going to come and they're going to pluck us off the planet. They're harvesting us. That's not what we're talking about here. The harvesting we're talking about is the idea of growing yourself in the sense that you want to look at that same term for actually growing wheat or food of some sort, where you allow it to grow, you allow it to ripen, and then it is transformed into something of sustenance that sustains you and allows you to continue. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the idea of harvesting in that sense is that the channel gets benefit, we get benefit, we sustain each other, we help each other grow, it expands us. So harvesting is a mutual agreement for growth and expansion and the transformation of what is learned into something that sustains, perpetuates, guides, and allows for more expansion in much the same way that you grow food to sustain and expand you. Yes?
Okay.
Is this helping at all? Or is this a little bit too esoteric?
I love esoteric, so
All right.
great.
Well, we apologize, but that's the translation.
Can you go into detail of the three-way split mentioned in the raw material, the law of one?
The
three-way split?
the three-way split.
Yes.
The idea simply being that reality is not a duality, it's a trinity. There is the polarity of what you call positive and negative, but there is always the center point of neutrality and balance. Everything is a trinity, not a duality. And as you expand your consciousness, the three-way split from our perspective is simply more awareness of how to use that and remain in the balance point so that you can choose what you prefer without invalidating what you don't. You see more of the positive and more of the negative, but you also see more opportunity to remain in the neutral central space, the balance point, and choose what you prefer while not invalidating what you don't prefer. It's just a neutral observational choice. That's one way to interpret the three-way split. Now, there are other splits happening, as we have described. You are splitting into a multitude of parallel realities, literally physically. So even though many of you can still see people on your planet, or what appears to be your planet, making choices you would not prefer, it's more now like looking through a glass wall where you can still see them, but nothing they do can affect you because it can't reach you through the glass wall. Even though you can see their reality doesn't mean you're actually still in it. More and more of this splitting will continue to happen until such time in the years to come, as the splits get farther and farther apart, those that have chosen a certain way to experience reality will only experience that way, whether it be positive or negative. And everyone will only experience what is reflective of the choice they made for the reality that they gravitate to, and will experience no dichotomy and nothing else. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that answering your question sufficiently?
Well, I guess the raw material mentions there's service to others split, service to self split, and those who are not polarized to be repeating third density.
Again, the idea is that there's no such thing as a true repeat.
Okay.
That's a choice. You see, perhaps part of what's happening here is that you might be using terminology that's a bit out of date.
Okay.
So the idea is that these old-fashioned ways of describing things don't necessarily represent what's really going on in the mechanism. So the concept of service to self, service to others, is understood in a couple of ways. If you want to talk about that as a split, that's fine, but it's really just a perspective. Those that value service to self above service to others, in a sense, are choosing a more negative way of experiencing the idea because they are creating a segregational energy. Those that value the idea of service to others will understand the same idea from a more positive direction because they look at it as a whole system and already realize that service to others is service to self, because you can't be left out of a whole system. Whereas those that experience the idea or perceive the idea or identify the idea as service to self first, in a negative way, are not seeing themselves as part of a whole. They're looking at it in a segregated component sort of orientation. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not important to focus on being your true self. That's not the same thing, because being your true self first is what actually allows you to be of service to others. Because if you're not you, how can you help anybody? So there's a couple of different ways of looking at this concept, some of which are a little bit more aligned with the negative idea, some of which are a little bit more aligned with the positive idea. But it's really about looking at whole systems as opposed to breaking things apart into components. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Another question, why is there so many new age fluff? I guess there's like a big debate.
New age
fluff or new age noise. There's a debate.
Because of what we just said. There's a lot of old-fashioned, outdated, medieval definitions that you've been taught to believe are actually the way to describe the mechanism, and they're not. So it can be very confusing when you don't understand what the real definition is. That's why it's so important to really understand how things work and allow yourself to tell the difference between the wheat and the chaff, the core and the fluff, because the fluff is usually created by a misunderstanding of the definition of what's happening.
So you do prefer the term fourth density over fifth dimension?
Well, it's just another way of describing something, but this is how we look at it. Densities are like the states within a country. Dimensions are like another country. So you are in the fourth dimension, 3 of space, 1 of time, but you have gone from third density and are going into fourth density as an expression of that dimension. But when you actually cross the line from fourth density to fifth density, you will also be simultaneously crossing from the fourth dimension into the fifth. It's just the way these things are lined up vibrationally, that's all.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
That will do.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I wanted to see if you could speak about consensus realities.
Yes. Consensus reality. Yes.
Yeah, if you could elaborate on that.
Well, again, the idea is that you have all agreed to play by certain rules of a particular game. That's the consensus reality level. So the analogy would be like saying, I want to belong to a chess club. Therefore, I'm going to go join a chess club. I will play by the rules of chess, because otherwise, what's the point of belonging to a chess club? I'm not going to play checkers because that's a different club. So the consensus reality is that this is a chess club and you play by the rules of chess. Now, there's a lot of flexibility in that. You can play with different kinds of pieces. You can play on different kinds of boards. You can play with different kinds of strategies and understandings of the game. But if you're not playing by the general rules, you're not playing chess, and you're not part of the consensus reality of the club. So all of you who are on Earth have agreed that you will play by the general rules of Earth, by the general idea of physical reality. But now, at this timing, because it's a transformational age, there's a little bit more leeway. You're sort of relaxing and inventing and expanding some new rules. and still agreeing that even though some may not play by those rules, it's still within the overall acceptance that it belongs to the consensus reality. There's a little bit more leeway for individuals to play by their own rules while still sort of obeying, shall we say, the generalized rules of the reality. In other words, it's not impossible to ignore the concept of gravity, but it's not necessarily probable that you will, because you probably don't necessarily need to ignore the idea of gravity on your planet to explore what it is that's relevant for you. So you will stick to some of the consensus rules, some of the consensus agreements that you've made, but you will expand in other directions that give you more flexibility as an individual. Does that explain it clearly enough?
Yes. That's my only
Yes?
question. I love you.
Our unconditional love to you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So the last time we spoke, you had mentioned that the whales had a message for me to bring them onto the land. And you had said that a 3D sculpture with
Yes.
maybe adding another fourth dimension.
Yes, bringing the whale energy onto the land with 3D sculptures placed around in your society.
Okay, and you had added that even fourth dimension would be even more valuable. Can you
Yes.
can you get more clear on that?
Well, a dimension of time. In other words, let's say, for example, you have a sculpture of a whale below the waterline,
Okay.
and a whale in the next one getting closer to the waterline, and the next one breaching the waterline, and the next one flying through the air, and the next sculpture going back through the waterline, and the final one being back under the waterline. That's a sculpture in time,
I love
in the fourth dimension, because you're following an actual path with the sculpture. It's leading you through a temporal experience. Yes?
I love it. That's exactly
But
what
the sculpture exists all at once.
Yeah.
Yes? So it is timeless, but expresses the concept of time.
That's great. I just needed to clarify that. Thank you.
Yes.
And then when we went to Baja, so you said to follow the excitement and the synchronicity of the
And?
Vaquita. And so when we went to the place that I felt inspired to go, there was a beautiful situation where there was some fish that were trapped into an actual trap. And we were able to save them. So it felt like a metaphor. I felt like I couldn't do much for the Vaquita, but I could do something for these fish.
Yes.
And then synchronistically, we learned right after that that the sea shepherd was there at the same time the night before, and they were actually rescuing some vaquita. So that synchronicity continued to play
All right.
out.
Thank you for your synchronicity creation.
Thank you. So the idea of synchronicity, though, you mentioned about negative synchronicity. Can you expand more on that?
Expand on,
Negative synchronicity.
well, yes, of course. As you buy into negative beliefs, the synchronicity is going to reinforce and reinforce and reinforce your choice to only see things in negative ways. And so it will create a momentum that you would consider to be a downward spiral. Just as positive synchronicity will take its cue from positive definitions that you apply to any given situation and create an expanding upward spiral.
Okay, and so the negative synchronicity, it's almost like a limiting belief where it will, you said if we wouldn't see them or we wouldn't follow them, I think is what you said the last time. Can you?
Yes.
Is that
In other words, the negative synchronicity will actually limit your ability to even perceive synchronicity. You will just mostly call it bad luck,
Yeah.
but it's negative synchronicity.
And
Yes.
so, okay, and so even with our limiting beliefs, if there's something that we want to experience, but we have a belief that it's not possible until we see it, can you talk about that?
Well, anything is possible, but the real question is it relevant or probable to happen in your life?
Right, for that person, right? So if they have a desire, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen for them. If it's,
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
That's why the third part of the formula is so crucial. No insistence, no assumption. You see, when you wrap your mind around the fact that insisting on a particular outcome, assuming a particular outcome is actually limiting what might happen, you'll finally stop insisting. Right now, many humans on your planet think that insisting on a particular outcome means that's the best thing that could happen. How do you know? You don't. So without the insistence, there's no resistance to what could happen that might be many times greater than you were actually even capable of imagining. So don't limit yourself in a negative way by assuming that you know what the best outcome is. Your physical mind has no idea what the best outcome for you would be, but your higher mind does.
I love you, Bashar.
We love you as well.
Thank you. So continuing on with the synchronicity of the whales. So when we were in the water with the gray whales, I got the clarity that they wanted to hear this specific song. So I had a speaker and I played the song, and it attracted, we had 8 whales around us,
All right.
babies. And they kept saying, play it again, play it again. And there, I felt like there was this communication going on between them, amongst themselves.
Of course.
Can you share anything?
No, not at this time.
All right. And nothing about that song in particular? It was Amazing Grace.
Not at this time.
All right.
Just understand that you all exist with amazing grace if you would simply allow yourselves to go with the flow. Remember this little rhyme, to allow yourself to experience more of your own amazing grace.
Thank you.
Go with the flow. The current knows where you need to go. Yes?
This should be another t-shirt.
Then flow with grace. And also, if you would, you can flow back to your seat.
Thank you, Bashar. I love you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So I purchased the contact crystal,
Yes?
and it was quite amazing during the meditation. I felt a physical affirmation as I was doing it. I was holding the contact crystal as requested,
All right.
and a shock came up my arm.
All
There
right.
was a physical affirmation for me in which I don't feel I get a lot.
That can happen sometimes.
It was wonderful. So thank you for that. I don't know if that was part of you or just how
It is
works.
simply the idea of the vibration of alignment with a higher frequency energy.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So I go out walking my dog a lot, and I look up to the stars, and I really would love either a physical affirmation of a UFO. I've been fascinated with them my whole life, and I don't know if it's relevant for me to see it, but I don't know why it has to be relevant, why curiosity can't be part of that. Meaning,
It doesn't mean you can't have curiosity, but that may not necessarily be the driving factor. Relevance is the driving factor. Timing is a driving factor. Synchronicity, a driving factor in that sense. But here's another driving factor. Is there somewhere on your planet you would rather be than where you are?
no,
Where are you on your planet locationally?
Denver, Colorado.
All right. And what is it about that area that you find attractive?
I grew up there, so I just ipso facto lived there. I haven't moved around.
There's nowhere else that you feel that you would like to at least even visit? That you're attracted to visit? I'm not saying you have to move permanently. I'm only asking if you're attracted to some other location that you haven't gone to. Has there ever been a dream to go somewhere else?
No, I travel frequently, a decent amount of times, but I don't
For
like
what
to
purpose?
live.
For what purpose?
Personal vacation,
And where have you gone?
Hawaii.
Why did you go there?
I love the tropical feel of Hawaii.
So you were attracted to another location. Yes?
Sure, I could say that all around.
Is this
the
a
planet.
challenging concept? To be attracted to a different location?
Yes.
Obviously, you have
It
been
is.
attracted to other locations. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So, are there any other locations that you've been attracted to? That you've gone to?
Yes, Sedona. I want to go there real bad.
You want to go there what?
Really bad.
Really bad. Oh, you mean it's a strong attraction?
There is a strong attraction there, yes.
Like pulling teeth.
All right, wonderful.
Therefore, without expectation, without insistence, without assumption, you need to follow the flow of where you're attracted to go. Yes?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Wonderful. One last thing.
Yes.
There was a transmission, I don't remember which one particularly, you said with a 98% probability between the years of 2015 and 2017 that we would know for a fact that life exists else on the planet, whether it's microbial or extraterrestrial. I don't.
Yes, but that's
Was there
been
a big event that
extended
happened?
because of recent events to 2019.
Ooh, okay, great.
Many things got a little bit pushed back when certain social political events happened in your reality.
Okay, so 2019, I don't want to say expect.
No,
Could
but it's highly likely. It's just that some of the programs that would have allowed you to make that discovery were delayed for a variety of reasons on your planet. Again, socially, politically, economically, so on and so forth. So because you made those changes, it changed the window a little bit, but it's only extended as far as 2019 or so.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Bashar. That's all I have. Shavai.
Shivai.
Good afternoon.
And to you, good day.
Hi. I'm trying to figure a little bit of this stuff out. I have trying to, well, accept and receive.
Except what?
I'm trying to open my pathway so I can accept the information that's coming toward me.
All right, well, you remember the formula, yes?
Yeah, and I'm still trying to knock down the wall that is in my brain or my deep, deep soul part, and I'm trying to figure out.
What are you defining as this wall?
Unfortunately, but true, it's a kind of like a religious belief from when I was a kid.
And what is the religious belief?
I don't know. The only thing I can figure out is the no gods before me kind of ordeal.
All right. That is a translation and a misinterpretation of the original communication. Would you like the original communication?
Sure.
All right, thank you. I am all there is. Anything else you may consider to be a different God is still a part of me, so it's not possible to have a false God before me, because everything is me. So it's not about the idea in the way it's been expressed, it's an idea and a reminder that you can't actually be recognizing or communicating with a false God unless you're saying that that is the only way it can express itself. That is a falsehood. Okay. Because all that is expresses itself in all things. It is all things. All things are it. So anything that you choose to function or see as a reflection of God or all that is in fact a reflection of the same one God. It's not possible to actually have a false God in that sense, because everything is God.
I got you.
But it's when people on your planet misinterpret these things and think that the way they view God is the only correct way, then in a sense, that's the closest you can come to having a false God. It's the insistence that that's the only expression that makes it, in a sense, false, even though it is actually an expression of God. Does that help clarify the idea a bit?
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to, well,
Yes?
I'm wanting to make sure that, what do you call that? That I receive the messages that I need to receive. And right now I have like,
Yes.
always buzzing in my ears, and I've been told that that's like the aliens are talking to me. And
They may be.
And I'm trying to figure out what they're saying, and that's the thing.
Well, again, this is why we say keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
You don't have to be confused. Go back to the formula. It will always allow, through synchronicity, everything you need to know to come to you when you need it, and everything will be organized and straightened out in time. Don't get overcomplicated by overthinking it. That's the confusing thing. Just go with the flow. Act on your passion to the best you can, with no insistence on what the outcome should be, because you don't really know what's best.
Yeah.
Just deal with whatever happens in the best possible way. And again, remember, it's not about what happens, it's about what you do with what happens that matters.
Yes, sir.
So if you just keep to these simple principles, everything will straighten itself out in time.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Appreciate it.
Yes. Remember, even though creation is richly complex, it is fundamentally simple. Keep it simple. One thing at a time. Remember that you are all infinite, eternal beings. What's your hurry? What's your rush?
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'd like to ask you if you can sing a song for us.
Not at this time.
Right, I just wanted to, if you can, yeah, transmit you us, but if you're gonna,
Speak up, speak up.
I'm sorry.
Please speak up so that all can hear you.
Yeah.
Is there something else you wanted to share?
I'm so nervous.
We will sing something for you another time. It is simply not the time now.
All right.
So what else would you like to discuss? Anything?
No.
No? Yes?
Yes.
What? Do you have a question? Do you have a comment? What would you like to say? What do you wish to know?
Did you have something to share with me?
I am sharing everything that is important for me to
mean,
share. I am sharing
without
everything that is important for us to share. I am
Without
not
my
holding
question?
anything back from you.
Without my question, if you feel you have to say something relevant for my person right now.
I have given you everything you need personally in this conversation.
Okay.
Why do you think that it needs to be something different? How about that question? That's just for you. Why do you think there needs to be something extra? Why do you think you don't have what you need?
I don't think I don't have what I need. So
Then why are you asking for something extra? If you know you have everything you need, why would there be anything else?
it's truth. Yeah.
Speak up.
It's truth. I don't need anything else.
But you asked for something else. You asked for something just for you. Yes? Well, what I'm telling you right now is just for you.
Okay.
You don't need to ask for anything extra. You have everything you need to move forward in your life in the most powerful, joyful, creative, passionate way. You just need to act more on those passions. Yes?
Yes.
That's for you.
Yeah.
So in telling you you need nothing else, I have given you, paradoxically, something that's just for you. Will that do?
Yeah.
Is that a question? Are you acting as often as you could on your highest passion? Hesitation means no. So, why aren't you acting more on your passion in life? What are you afraid will happen if you do? Are you ready to have this conversation?
Not really.
Are you ready to have this conversation?
No.
You need to speak up. It's all right if you're not.
No.
You're not ready.
No.
All right. Well, we thank you for the interaction you were willing to share. We'll make you a deal. Even though we said we will sing at another time, we will sing to you in your dreams. Did a bunch of cats suddenly come into the room? Nania?
Yes, hello. Well, there were many, many questions, and maybe we will put some of these, we're saving these, so we'll put them aside so that we really can delve into some other areas with you.
All right.
But for tonight, what is the mechanical difference between imagination and memory?
The mechanical difference is that imagination is a conduit to the higher mind, a conduit of communication, through which different kinds of probabilities can be downloaded, and you can, through the idea of your own vibration, your own attraction, your own passion, decide which are relevant for you at that moment, but it expands the probabilities, it expands the choices, and acts as literally the conduit of communication from the higher mind to let you know what might be relevant, what might be possible and probable for you in life to be more of yourself. Memory is created in the moment as a representation of something that you believe happened in the past, but is simply another way of creating in the present moment a connectional link to another simultaneous existence that you desire to draw information or experience from. And that link of energy can pass through the conduit of imagination that links you, that bridges you to your higher mind, so that the higher mind can help guide you in how to use those so-called memory links in the most positive and beneficial way. So they can work together that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, so if the higher mind, one of the ways to connect with it is through your imagination.
Yes.
Okay, and that's always considered a really positive thing. It takes you to a higher vibrational level.
Yes.
But then the idea of memory, like memory is created based on the vibrational state that you're choosing at any given moment.
Yes.
And you're creating a memory. So that memory can assist or it can hinder, or I guess it can be neutral.
It depends on what belief systems it's passing through or filtering through in the physical mind. But nevertheless, the imagination, the communication from the higher mind, can allow you to use whatever memory connections you're making in the present in the most positive way if you use your imagination with those memories. How you can learn something from them, how you can grow from them, how you can advance from there, how you can build upon it in your imagination from something you believe you have learned from, something you are relating to as something in your storehouse, something in your treasure chest, some experience you already have had, so to speak, even though you're creating it in the moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear about the tools that are available to us to really enhance our memory and our imagination in a positive way.
Yes. Again, the idea of memory is created in the present, and it's sort of analogous to the idea of, say, taking a photograph on your planet. All right, you say, well, I took this photograph of something that happened a long time ago. But aren't you still looking at the photograph? Isn't it still in your present? It's being created in your present over and over and over again through the illusion of continuity. So the photograph isn't really a photo, quote unquote, from the past. It may be a photo of what you call the past, but it actually exists in the present with you. It's not from the past.
Yeah, it always seems like the imagination is like the telephone line directly to the higher level.
Yes.
And how you work with the memory and the imagery that you create based on the memory.
Yes, and they can work together as a guiding principle in the sense that even though the imagination may provide you with many different scenarios, some of which may not necessarily be immediately relevant for you, connecting to the idea of memory, digging out of your treasure chest what you know has already been relevant for you, can help color the imagination and bring it into focus in a way so that you know what parts of what you're being given from the higher mind through imagination are relevant for you, because you can see how to build on what was to build onto something as to where to go. So you can use it that way as a guiding principle. Yes?
Yeah, it's very interesting to be able to see the differentiation too, you know?
Yes.
There's some hybrid questions here. The Shakani are quasi-physical. What about other races?
There are other races that are quasi-physical.
But the Yael, they would be physical, yes?
They are more physical, yes.
So the versions of us that'll be interacting with them will be
The versions of humans interacting with the Yael?
Yeah, will be more...
Well, more physical, but fourth density physical.
Refined physical.
Yes, refined physical, if you wish. Elevated physical.
I'm working with these tablets, so I kind of have to... Okay, will the...
Tablets?
Yes, I've got the tablets.
Is that the kind that you need to take 2 of and call us in the morning?
I thought I kind of got them from the mountain or something.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mrs. Moses.
Oh, I only got a single tablet, though, so, you know.
Oh, lost half of it, did you?
I have to make do with one.
All right.
So will the sixth hybrid race be created in a petri dish or by the biological way or both?
The hybrid children that will be coming to live on your world have already, in a sense, been manipulated through the idea of science and genetic experimentation. Therefore, in terms of becoming the sixth hybrid race, it's not so much now the idea of a scientific procedure as it is a more natural biological blending.
Okay.
Did that answer the question?
Yes, actually did.
Yes.
What makes each of the 5 races unique to deal with?
Well, that's a long story. But you are dealing with the Sasani through us. The idea, again, of the Yael will be something you can relate to a little bit more, a little bit earlier, a little bit more easily. The Maz-eh, you don't relate to very well. Yes? So let's just use that spectrum as a simplistic illustration. It's either less or more relatable to humanity. We're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Fascinating. We can see Sirius with the naked eye. Eshikani, however, is in slightly a different dimension.
Yes.
So we can't see its star.
Correct.
Why is that so, considering you once explained that Sirius beings were their mentors?
Yes, but remember that as we enter your dimension, we have to become part of the consensus agreement on a much larger scale, and Sirius provides a certain function of balance and guidance in your reality. Therefore, we had to become part of the consensus agreement to work with Earth. There will be more to this coming out in another transmission, but the idea is, in general, that, and being trained as a first contact specialist, since I chose to interact with Earth, I have to go by what the basic parameters are for doing so, and some of that includes needing to work with the Sirius energy that is part of your general dimensional reality in order to do so.
Okay. Are fairies and mermaid considered extraterrestrial beings?
No. Fairies are another way of describing the idea of the elementals that are projections or expressions in physicalized form of the consensus reality that creates different kinds of individual symbols or beings that are connected to nature, the actual consciousness of the planet itself. The idea of mermaids is more the idea of transformation and genetic alteration that occurred in the past, primarily in Atlantean times, that created certain kinds of beings, some of which survived to some degree into something close to your present history, but don't really exist exactly in the same way. Now, don't get this confused with the fact that certain elementals can present themselves in mermaid form, but that doesn't mean that they're the original genetic mermaids that were created in Atlantean times. Yes?
Wow. It's wild. I love that the energy of the archetype,
Yes.
is available to everyone.
Of course it is.
Lovely.
It's your consensus reality. They're your archetypes. They're your larger reflections of the greater themes that your people are exploring by choosing to incarnate in an earth vibration.
Okay, so this is kind of a little sad.
Oh, if you say
It's a
so.
little sad question.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Little sad. Hello, little sad.
Is it possible to have a life theme that creates the experience where you are not able to follow your highest excitement? And what is the true purpose of that theme?
Yes, absolutely, it's possible to have a theme where you simply create every single available inability to act on your highest passion. That's exceedingly rare from our experience and our perception of your collective reality, but it can be done and has been done on rare occasions. The basic premise for choosing something like that is an extremely amplified version of the idea of attracting something into your life that is what you don't prefer, to make it that much clearer and that much more crystallized as to what you do prefer. The idea of lives that choose to experience an inability to follow their passion are usually relatively short-lived. There are examples of longer ones, but that's again even more rare. Those that find themselves unable to follow their passion in any way, shape, or form will usually die early. That doesn't mean that's the only reason why people die early, but that's usually the result on most occasions. So they will simply have stuck their toe temporarily into reality to experience the greatest form of limitation that they can, and then they will extract themselves relatively quickly so they can move on, having learned the lesson of what it's like to experience very deep, deep negative limitation. Again, this is another variation of a spirit experiencing the rubber band analogy. The farther back you pull the rubber band, when you finally let it go, it will snap that much farther, that much faster onto the other side. So the deeper into darkness and limitation someone might explore, when they finally let go, the faster they will snap and fly, and farther they will fly into the light. It all serves a purpose depending upon how the soul uses it. And again, you kind of have to take it on a case-by-case basis because there can be other reasons for a soul choosing that experience. It might sometimes have more to do with the people that experience them in their lives rather than the person having the experience. It might be teaching them lessons too. Because someone who appears to not be capable of living their joy might make it very, very clear to others how grateful and appreciative they can be that they have been given the ability or have chosen the ability to do so. So you really have to understand what's going on in each specific situation with the energy dynamics of why that was chosen. Yes?
Yes, and in this day and age, isn't it also possible that the person could awaken and change their theme?
Well, yes, of course. In this day and age, in this transformational age on your planet, yes, they can experience the great limitation, as I said, and then let go and snap into the light without dying. So yes, of course.
That's nice.
Yes, it is. Not so little and sad.
No, it's not. Yeah, definitely. That was really good. Yeah.
All right. It is, at this timing, time for a short break, and we will resume this transmission for your holotope meditation permission slip tool in order to crystallize the idea of what has been shared with you this day. Take your break. All right, I'll say, let us continue this transmission in the following way. Each and every one of you, please become relaxed and comfortable in your seats. Allow your eyes to remain open on the center of the holotope before you. And as the lights dim, as the music rises, as the lights